Hey everyone, it's Marie here. So I'm joining you today with a bit of a crafty tips video, and my crafty tips are all to do with Cricut. So I thought rather than just telling you about them, I would show you a few of the things I have at home that I use all the time that help me with doing cut files, and just a few other bits and pieces that I thought you might find useful. Okay, so these are the things I'm going to go through today, but let me just move a few out of the way. And let me show you my first one first of all. So the first thing to say is that I only really use the light grip mats from Cricut. I am a Cricut user. I have two Cricut makers, and it really is only the light grip mats. I find the green standard grips are too sticky to peel cut files off effectively. They drive me absolutely insane, and I much prefer them. So this one is reasonably sticky still, and I only ever use American Crafts Precision White and Precision Black cardstock. Now, the reason for that is it does say on the packet it is better for cutting machines. Having bought the standard American Crafts paper and then this one as well and compared them, I do find that this cuts better. My personal experience, you know, that's just how I find it. You might find different, but I just prefer the precision white cardstock. Right, this mat is actually reasonably sticky, but you can see that when I bend the mat, the paper is popping off. Now, there's two things I do to try and extend the life of my cut mats. The first one is I use a brayer. This is the Cricut brayer. I find it really comfortable. You can get cheaper ones, you can get other branded ones, you don't have to have the Cricut one. You can also use this for mixed media. I generally do only use it for my cut mats though. You can pop the roller out to clean it if you do use it for mixed media, but like I say, I just use this solely for my cut mats. And I generally use it to make sure that the mat has a really good stick. The paper has a really good stick to the mat. Just rolling it backwards and forwards, and that I find can really help if you're getting failed cuts or things coming through and tearing slightly. You can imagine I send a lot of cut files through my machines every month. That really just helped to get everything stuck down properly, and then it is still going to come off, look, but it's stuck a lot better. That popped straight off before. It's now got a much better stick to it on the mat. The other thing I do, which is not recommended, or I don't even know if Cricut say it's all right or not. You're not meant to put anything else on the cut mat. I use very, very, very low tack. This is chamois tape, it says, but I use very, very low tack. It's like a masking tape, and I simply put a tiny piece on each corner. I even recycle the pieces of tape. I don't actually throw them away when I'm scraping the mat off. I don't actually throw them away. I will just put one on each corner. Now, when it's going in and out and moving around in the machine, I do find that this holds things in place really well and prevents a little bit of that lifting. As you can see, you can kind of bend them out, stays on a little bit better. I find, again, that just helps prolong the life of the mat. I have in the past tried the repositionable spray that you can spray back on. I do clean my mats with washing up liquid and a soft sponge to get all the bits off. That can give them a little bit more life as well. But generally speaking, if you're finding just the odd bit of paper is lifting, the tiniest bit of masking tape can really help. But like I say, Cricut don't endorse that, so, you know, don't tell them I said so. I mean, I don't work for Cricut or anything, but yeah. Just be wary that these are stuck down really well. You wouldn't want them getting trapped in the machine. I think that's the whole point that Cricut make, you know, don't use it so it doesn't get trapped in the machine. But I find it works for me. Okay, next thing. So that's my brayer and my tape and my mat. The next thing, Cricut sell a whole load of different tools. I have got quite a lot of tools from Cricut. I used to use this one quite a lot for scraping the mats, for helping get cut files off. I don't find that I use this very often anymore. I do end up just using my fingernails. If you can't get your fingernail under a particular part of a cut file, I will often use this. I don't I think it's a weeding tool. I think it's meant for weeding if you're using vinyl. Mine's been used so much actually that the end is bent. I use this for all sorts. I use it for pulling threads through from one side of the other when I've done sewing on a layout. But yeah, if you need to get under the edge and you can't quite get your finger, that's quite useful. I find it easier to use than using the spatula. So they can be useful. If I had to choose, I would pick the brayer over these two and just use my fingers. But they can be quite useful. The other thing I would not be without is a big scraper. Obviously, I clean a lot of cut mats. I have about 12 on the go at any one time, so I can kind of throw a load through the machine, get a load cut in, and then peel them off later. I have one of these. These are invaluable. So once I've peeled off maybe like the outside of the piece, and I've picked off all of the cut files, I will simply use this to scrape across the page, get rid of all the bits. Absolutely brilliant. So that's the spatula. You can get them in a smaller size as well, but I think the bigger one's better. So that's my other thing. So a couple of other things to tell you about. I store my cut files like this. So I literally have an A4 folder. I have a box in my cupboard as well, a 12 by 12 box for any of the larger size cut files that I cut for myself. But any that are smaller, and quite a lot of my cut files are smaller, I will put them in a plastic wallet. I'll keep all the internal letters and all the little bits as well. Occasionally, when I'm getting really organised, if I've got a photograph I know I want to go with that particular cut file, so this is Happy Little Camper and this is Elliot on his recent residential, and he was a happy little camper because they were actually camping out in big bell tents. I'll put them all together. I keep the internal letters in case I want to either colour them with Distress Oxides to fill the words back in, or whether I want to use them to trace around so that I can cut out the bit for backing the cut file. So yeah, just keep it all together in a plastic wallet. And then the plastic wallets, I do buy really good quality ones. These are recycled as well. I do buy thick quality ones so that they can be reused over and over and over and over again without getting tatty. And then so I'll use the cut file, I'll put it back in my empty pile, and then when I've cut some more for myself, I'll put them back in. So that's how I store my cut files. And the last thing I wanted to show you was this. This you may recognise from a layout I did a little while ago. These are actually all the internal pieces from the giant maple leaf cut file. So a few days ago I created this layout with the maple leaf. So I've used the outside piece here from the cut file, and that's the actual cut file itself just there. And then all the pieces were sat on the cut mat. So I decided rather than throwing them away, I would keep them. This is transfer paper. So basically it's sticky. It's like it's not double-sided, sticky back plastic. So all I did was I took off everything I didn't want had already come off anyway, because the outside is on that layout, so is the cut file. So this was all that was left. You may find that there are other bits kind of floating around on your cut mat that you don't need. Take them off first, leave the bits you want to keep, and then all you have to do is you simply, on the cut mat, you place, so that's on the cut mat, you place the sticky on top of the cut file, rub it really hard. I actually used my brayer to roll over it, and then peeled it back, and the pieces, all these negative pieces from the cut file were left then on the sticky. I then put that back on the backing piece of paper from the sticky back plastic. It's called transfer tape. It's a roll of transfer tape. And then I can keep that. And then when I'm ready to use that, all I would need to do is take a sheet of cardstock like this. Say this was not on a cut mat, just on my desk. Take this again. And then all I would do is simply pop glue on the back of all these pieces. So just some standard sort of wet glue, bobbed on the back of each piece. Place that then on the page where I wanted it. Again, roller over those bits, leave it to dry for a couple of minutes, and then very carefully you kind of peel the double-sided back off of the top, and then you've got all the negative pieces stuck down, you can then gesso it, and then you can mix media over it, and you can get some absolutely awesome effects. Watch out, because I am going to do that with this soon. I have a layout planned with this. Haven't done it yet, obviously, but I have got a layout planned with this that I'm going to use that on the background and then kind of paint over it with some beautiful mixed media-y colours and brightness and loveliness. So yeah, that's the other thing that you can do. So if you want to save your negative pieces, I would recommend getting just a small amount of this transfer tape, so that you can, like I said, make use of all the bits of the cut file. So that's it. There's my crafty tips. There's the things I wouldn't be without. Other things that you might find useful, and a couple of organisation ideas as well. So thanks ever so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon.